An average person wakes up at 42 and realizes they are financially behind, and not just a little, a way behind. What's interesting is this. Almost all of them repeat the same sentence internally. I thought I still had time. The fundamental truth you didn't notice is this. The problem didn't start now, it started at 32, or 34, or 37. The fire zone isn't your 40s. Your 40s are just when the bill arrives. The real financial damage happened in your 30s, quietly, unnoticed, while you were enjoying your life and assuming everything was fine. In this video, I'll show you the evidence proving that your 30s are the most dangerous financial decade of your life, and the 3 critical moves you can make to turn this in your favor. Let's start with why everyone points to the 40s as the decade to fear. Honestly, at first glance, it makes sense because by your 40s, retirement accounts stop feeling like a game and start feeling painfully real. The mortgage is still there. Your kids' expenses have grown. Your parents are aging. And for the first time, you can clearly see the finish line, and it's not as far away as you thought. Many people panic at this point, and right on cue, the financial industry steps in with things like 401k catch-up contributions and reinforces the idea that it's not too late. But here's the truth behind that panic. This isn't a disease, it's a symptom. Imagine a patient who only goes to the doctor when symptoms appear. The damage started long before today. That panic you feel in your 40s is just the visible symptom of decisions you made a decade earlier. And here's the brutal irony. By the time you panic in your 40s, most of your most valuable asset in investing, time, is already gone. So let's go where the real danger begins. Let's talk about your 30s. Danger number 1. This one is sneaky, because it makes you feel successful. In your 30s, your income typically starts to rise. You get promoted, you switch jobs for better pay, you may even start earning more than you ever imagined in your 20s. What happens next is as normal as it is destructive. Your spending rises with your income. Economists call this lifestyle inflation. I call it the invisible lock-in. Because here's the truth no one tells you. Once you upgrade your lifestyle, downgrading it becomes socially and psychologically difficult. A bigger house, a nicer car, regular dinners out, expensive vacations, you feel like you deserve all of it, and you probably do. But each upgrade silently increases your baseline cost of living. Now, let me give you a number to think about. If at age 32, instead of paying an extra $500 per month for a better car, you had invested that $500 with an average annual return of 7% by age 62, that single decision would be worth roughly $600,000. $600,000. From one simple lifestyle choice you probably wouldn't even remember making. That's not the cost of the car. That's the opportunity cost of the car. And it accumulated silently over 30 years. The danger of your 30s isn't spending more money. The real danger is locking those higher expenses into your life right when compound interest is at its most powerful. The second danger is directly tied to the first, but it deserves its own discussion because most people underestimate how ruthless math can be. There's a concept in compounding often referred to as the 8-4-3 rule. At around a 12% annual return, your money roughly doubles every 6 years. But the key insight isn't just doubling, it's acceleration. The first doubling takes time and feels slow, but each subsequent doubling happens much faster. The single most powerful thing you can do for retirement is invest early and aggressively, not necessarily more, not necessarily smarter, just earlier. Here's what keeps financial planners up at night. Someone who invests aggressively between ages 30 and 40 and then stops completely often retires with more money than someone who starts at 40 and invests consistently until retirement. Let me repeat that. A 10-year early investment window can outperform a 30-year late start investment. Your 30s are not a warm-up round. They are the highest leverage decade of your entire financial life, and most people are too busy to notice what's slipping through their fingers. Career, kids, furnishing a home, upgrading their lifestyle. This isn't about money, it's about time. And time is the one thing you can never buy back. The third danger, no one talks about it, but it might be the most important one. I call it identity debt. Your 30s are the decade where you build your social identity, the version of you the outside world sees, the neighborhood you live in, the car in your garage, the restaurants you go to, the vacations you post, the schools your kids attend. Here's the problem. Every one of these decisions becomes load-bearing. They are structural. You can't easily move to a cheaper neighborhood without disrupting your kids' schooling. You can't downgrade your car without people noticing. You can't suddenly cut back your social life without questions. Escaping the financial identity you built in your 30s isn't easy. Not impossible, but difficult and expensive, at least psychologically. There's a term in personal finance, keeping up with the Joneses. But that framing makes it sound trivial, like vanity. It's not. It's the slow, invisible construction of a financial prison that feels like home. The broke 40-year-olds with a good salary and nothing in savings, they didn't get there from one big mistake. They got there from thousands of small identity decisions in their 30s. Decisions that lock them into a lifestyle their future selves can't sustain and won't dare to escape. And the tragedy is, they weren't even aware of it while it was happening. All right, I've made you uncomfortable enough. Now let's talk about what you can actually do, because here's what matters. If you're in your early 30s right now, none of this is inevitable. The next 3 moves can completely change your trajectory. And if you're already in your 40s, you're not too late, but starting now is critical. Move 1, cap your lifestyle at 70% of your income, regardless of what you earn. Sounds simple. It's not, because it goes directly against what everyone around you is doing. But this is one of the core rules that protects you from lifestyle inflation. 70% of your net income goes to living expenses, 30% goes to your future savings, investments, debt payments. The numbers aren't the point. The principle is decide how much you'll save before you start spending, not after, not with leftovers, at the beginning. And this becomes even more critical as your income grows. A raise doesn't mean your lifestyle must immediately expand, but your savings should. Move 2, auto-invest every raise before it touches your lifestyle. This is the practical execution of move 1. Whenever your income increases, redirect at least half of that increase into investments before it ever reaches your spending. Automate it. Let the money disappear into investments before you even see it. Why this works is psychological. You don't miss money you never got used to spending, but once you spend it, even for 3 months, it becomes part of your baseline, and losing it feels like a downgrade. This is called paying your future self first. And people who consistently do this in their 30s almost always build real wealth quietly over time for years before anyone around them notices. Move 3, choose identity markers that don't cost compounding. This one is more philosophical, but possibly the most powerful. Your identity has a cost. Not your entire identity, but the parts tied to spending, status, visibility, and social signaling. The alternative isn't living like a monk. It's choosing deliberately where you invest your identity. Fitness, skills, knowledge, deep relationships, creative work. These build a strong identity over time with almost no financial cost. They don't require subscriptions, upgrades, or social media validation. The truly wealthy people I've seen, the ones who are actually rich, not just flashy, share one trait. Their confidence isn't rented, it's owned, and it doesn't depreciate. Here's what I want to leave you with. Your 40s aren't the danger zone. They never were. Your 40s are just the decade where you find out how well you handled your 30s. If you're still in your 30s, You are in the most powerful financial window of your life. Compounding is open. The lifestyle trap hasn't fully closed. Your identity debt hasn't locked in yet. You still have massive room to make decisions your future self will thank you for. And if you're in your 40s, welcome to clarity. Most people don't get the chance to look at their situation this honestly until much later. The fact that you're here watching this, thinking seriously about it, already puts you ahead of most people who won't act until they're forced to. The best time to act was 10 years ago. The second best time is now. If this video changed how you think about your 30s, I'd really appreciate a like, so this reaches more people who need to see it. And if you want to go deeper into building wealth quietly without falling into lifestyle traps, hit subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.